Welcome back to Fabletop RPG. Today we are doing The Archives. Now, The Archives is a show where we talk about a RPG book in its entirety, kind of run over it and see what type of RPG this is, what they're doing. And we are going to just talk about that a little bit. So joining me in that is my brother. Say hello, Troy.
Hello.
So I am Nick, your host, and my brother here is a Twitch streamer, as I do on YouTube with the Gamers from Vegas. He is a Twitch streamer for Castle6891, that is his own personal channel, as well as on TikTok. You'll find him under TGX Comics, and he is doing some amazing drawings on there, and as well as flashing off his comic book series, which I think he should actually start doing a actual verbal stream of the comics, kind of reading them off. Don't know what you guys would think of that. Maybe he needs to do some editing for that. I'm not 100% sure, but his comics are pretty fun to read. They are as serious as they're meant to be. They are just really funny to read through, so... Anyway, so Legend of the Five Rings. What?
Going over the book today is what?
Legend of the Five Rings. So, this one is a ancient feudal kind of based RPG. It is based kind of around the era of I don't remember the time period it is. I just know it's based on essentially really old Japan. Roughly about that. So as you can see from the cover here, as you can see, Troy, you got a sword with a man inside it, and you have 5 elements in a circle, which I can only assume are wind, fire, air, water, and earth. So I'm gonna probably say those are what the 5 elements there are. Plus you got the Legend of the Five Rings right there, and it's a pretty nice cover.
That's nice for what it is. They look like power coins.
Yeah, they kind of do. I would dare say they were the Ninjetti, the Equation power coins, if that was a thing. But actually, they probably are. But yeah. So this is the 4th edition book, as you can see right here. That tells you how far this game has come. So 4th edition. I don't even know when the other editions were made. Legend of the Five Rings is one of those games that I've been reading about, but I've never played. And the one time I kind of tried to get a campaign going for it, it didn't really work out in my favor. But you guys will see what kind of game this is going. But look at this. Look at this map.
That's a pretty nice map, ain't no lie there.
It is. I mean, I'm kind of curious, what all is inside it, because... goddamn, this thing is... it's pretty significant. You can see through, just visualizing what it is to what kind of map it might be. This looks like a territorial map, just based upon, you see some numbers placed, and that kind of gives you an idea of, what they might have been. So that's the base idea there. And then you have, here's all the... written bys and special thanks, and oh my god, look, yeah, that's great. When is this written? Now, of course, they want to put the copyright on here. That would just be, ridiculous. You can see here, though, that they kind of refer to the book, or you can go to the website www.l5r.com. That right there will be a kind of an idea of, what, of how long this has been around. So they got their own website for it. You can go onto it and you can check it out. Oh, here we go. So this game was started in 97, it seems.
No.
or at least it was,
Started playing.
or at least it was
Yeah.
introduced to him by then.
No.
Okay, so let's see the table of contents. What do we got here? Okay, so we have introduction, Book of Air, which is the Emerald Empire, which looks like this is a more like a like social and geography of the empire of the area. It looks like the name of the land though is Rokugan. And so that has the Emerald Empire rolled into it. So that is what we're dealing with. That is the setting. Then you have the clans. So some of the clans here inside that empire are the Crab Clan, the Crane Clan, the Dragon, Lion, Mantis, Phoenix, Scorpion, and Unicorn. So that's interesting. I like that they separate it through clans as opposed to class systems. So let's see what else they got here, though. General mechanics.
Well, you did say feudal Japan, right?
Yeah.
Well, if I remember correctly in my information doing comic number 8, I did feudal Japan against the Takeda and another clan class where it was an ancient battle. Yeah, there were clans back then, so that's pretty basic to know that.
Well, no, I know that there were clans, but I like how they separate clans as opposed to like Dungeons and Dragons that separate them through Artificer or like shit like that. Like this one, if they're talking about clans here, as part of the Book of Air, I'm gonna assume that that's part of your character creation system, as opposed to saying that you're a samurai or some shit. Book of Earth, general mechanics. So you have target numbers, rings and traits, skills, raises, types of rolls, skill rolls expanded, combat, wounds, stances, a whole bunch of other things. This looks like pretty intricate stuff right here. Then you have the Book of Fire. This is the character creation. This is where this is interesting me. I love character creation in games. So this will be a big section for us to roll through. And it looks like a lot of pages. Now, it looks like about 207 so far. That's the highest. But for rolling down here, you got Book of Warder, which is part of Advanced Mechanics. And Book of the Void, which is the Game Master's chapter. So that's pretty much where the Game Master needs to know all the bits and pieces of information. And we're dealing roughly about 360 pages here, but you guys know that we don't really run through the entirety of the book. Like we said, we give it a quick glance over. We want to just understand what the game's like, what it's running with us, and so we're going to give an opinion based on that. So let's roll down. Let's see what we're dealing with. There's some pictures and everything. Welcome to Rokugan. Here we go. So, here you go. Welcome to the Emerald Empire. You hold in your hands the 4th edition of the Legend of the Five Rings role-playing game. Here in these pages is an exciting opportunity to delve into adventure and intrigue, a distant and exotic land without ever leaving the comfort of your own home. Gamers have been visiting Rokugan, the Emerald Empire, since the first edition of the game was published in 1997. So this game has been around now for almost 30 years. Yeah. Almost 30 years this game has been around. And I'm just now hearing about it.
Well, it's a little hard to compete with all the other, I guess, tabletops people have come up with that are possibly more popular. So,
well,
it's not
at this
unheard
point,
of.
well, let's see. We're talking about 1997. Let's see. 1997. What? I graduated in 8th grade.
We were still watching Power Rangers back then.
Yeah, right. Like we didn't even know what D&D was at the time, except for whatever cartoon was on at the time. So that tells you that we don't know squadoo about this game. Although it's funny, we're actually technically older than this game. That's even funnier to me. But we weren't playing tabletops back then. Like, tabletops were been around for a while. We all know Dungeons and Dragons is the original OG. Then you have Pathfinder, and a couple of other games that have definitely surfaced since then. But yeah, if you're just not looking for a game like this, you're not going to know what it is. What is a role-playing game? Okay, guys, I know we're here for the role-playing aspect, so you all know what a role-playing game is. But this one uses a 10-sided die system. So this game particularly uses D10s to solve their issues. So which means it's usually like 7 or higher on the dice is usually a success. That's the way those things normally go. Why is it called a role-playing game? Why use dice? Those are silly questions. We're moving on from that. What is Rokugan? Rokugan is a fictional kingdom, a vast empire whose history, myths, and culture draw heavily upon the real-life history and culture of ancient and medieval Asia, primarily Japan, but also including China and Korea. Among others, it is a land where samurai, honorable servants, and the divine emperor wage war and forge peace in the name of their lords. It is a land where mighty great clans, each comprised of multiple ancient families, work together and against one another in hopes of accomplishing their political and military agendas. It is a land where valiant warriors or bushi struggle to win the day for their clans on the field of battle. It is a land where pious Shugenja priests offer prayers to the multitude of fortunes in hopes of achieving blessings of heaven for their lands. It is a land where courtier.
I can't see the word.
Huh?
I said I can't see the word.
Wait, why not?
No. I mean, I can see what you're reading. I just can't read that small text.
Oh. Yeah, sorry. Where courtier politicians wage an endless war of words seeking any possible advantage for their clans. Rokugan is an empire of honor and glory, of strife and adventure, of honor and mystery. So that is the land that we're dealing with. So now you know that it's part Japan, part China, part Korea, and they draw this inspiration heavily from those times. So you're talking about the land of geisha, the land of shogun, the land of emperors and lords and shit. Like, so this is a pretty heavy-based RPG in that time period, and that's really hard to do for some people. This is not going to be a game for everyone. If you're talking about political agendas and military struggles, and dude, like that's some definitely adult level shit where you ain't gonna bring. You're probably not going to get kids who are like in high school to be playing this game. But I mean, shit. I mean, I could see some adults in their 30s probably sit down with this and be like, yeah, let's fucking do this shit.
We'll definitely have to have a high class of knowledge for this one.
Some knowledge of ancient Japan and shit definitely is needed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why play Legend of the Five Rings? So, essentially what it says here is there's a whole bunch of different, there's a whole bunch of different RPGs on the market. And offering games on every topic from classic fantasy to sci-fi fantasy to costume superheroes. So through all of that, this game separates itself by not being one of those. It's still a fantasy game, but it's not about killing the monsters. It's more about honor and heroism of moral consequences as opposed to anything like that, because you're essentially playing a samurai or a geisha or something similar to that in this game, and you're not really playing like a hero per se, but you're more playing like a clansman who's like a samurai, and you're following the code of Bushido, which is a very ancient samurai stance in the land. So it's a very different game just based off that information. What do you think about that? Like, what do you think about the fact that this is not a hack and slash type of game? This is literally supposed to be more like political intrigue and being based on the life of Bushido.
The fact that it's more based on, I guess you could say, your character's choices and politicalness, that rather than hack and slash. I'd say that's probably correct considering the direction they're going for with the war and political peace, because um, it's definitely a change of pace rather than, oh, we need to raid and do hack and slash to get some experience. Okay. No, this one is based upon your decisions and what you say. So it's better. It gives people a chance to think on exactly how can I say, talk more during campaigns rather than sit and fight. So it's a different direction more or less than what you commonly would do.
Right,
I'd agree
exactly.
to that.
Right. See, that's why I kind of like this too. This is a different book. For people that played Vampire the Masquerade, this is a very similar idea. Now, Vampire the Masquerade, that's an entirely different system, and for those of you that play World of Darkness games, bravo, those things are oof. Anyway, but yeah, Vampire the Masquerade is very much kind of like this, where it more focuses on the political intrigue of vampire society as opposed to everything else. So yeah, this is a very similar game to that. So I'm kind of glad you kind of like the premise of this, because we're gonna dive in further and we're gonna see exactly what's new and or what's going on. Because here it is. This is a note for returning players. Now, we don't really know what's been taken out, so I'm not going to do a comparison here. I'm going to leave this section alone for the moment, because we haven't played a different edition or anything, so we don't know what the differences are between 3rd edition and 4th edition. So I'll leave that be. The Japanese art in here is just beautiful, though. God. Birth of the Universe. So in the beginning, before the universe was created, there was only nothing, blah, blah, blah. So it's just the whole backstory of how and what the universe of, the area is. There's the fall of the kami, which are literally gods. Then you have the prehistory of the empire. So there's a lot of world building in this. And they even go from the 1st century of the empire, which is 1 to 100 IC, which I don't know what the fuck IC stands for. Oh, Aizawa calendar. So this system is known as the Aizawa calendar and is used by all Rokugani to record historical events. So when you would put down like, oh, what decade or what century is it? Oh, it's like 500 IC, and that would be the calendar year that they use. The dawn of the empire. Let's see. Yeah, the 2nd century, so that's 101 to 200. And 3rd century, 4th century, 5th century, 6th century. The steel chrysanthemum, or chrysanthemum, something like that. 7th century. 8th century, the attack of the Maw, the return of the Blood Speaker. 9th century, 11th, 12th, the Scorpion Clan coup. That doesn't sound good. And the Clan War and the Second Day of Thunder. The Hidden Emperor era, the War Against the Darkness. The Four Winds era, Return of the Blood Speaker, the Race of the Throne. Geography of Rokugan. So Rokugan's a land of diverse geography, ranging from open plains and fertile farmland to rugged mountains and tropical island for the most part. The climate is temperate, with a long and fairly warm summer, but a surprisingly bitter winter. Of all continental Rokugan experiences, significant snowfall during the winter months, and travel slows a crawl during that time. So, essentially, they're like, oh, shit, it's snowing? Nope, fuck that. Settling down in a town for, 3 months.
Sometimes they have to do that. Their lands aren't built like ours today.
Yeah, that's very true. Trying to get around that time is a pain in the ass. But there's more on that. Social classes in the Celestial Order. So, like, there's a lot. They really went into. You could see here, like, they went into the histories and they went into how people should be, like, around this time period. There's rituals of life. Like, they really do have a understanding of, like, what things are going on. Like, here, they even have the origins of the Ronin and what is a geisha, which will be really surprising to what they are, because this is really strange. So, alright, so when you think of geisha, Troy, what is a geisha?
Geisha, I believe currently, well, at least what comes to mind is the white faced makeup with the red lines usually on that they currently wear for
Okay.
celebratory. That's what usually comes to mind.
Okay, but do you know what they are?
Dancers?
Actually, yeah. So the nature of geisha can be somewhat confusing. Contrary to what outsiders may think, geisha are not prostitutes. They are entertainers, trained to offer solace to lonely and stressed out samurai by means of pleasant conversation, jokes, music, dance, and relaxation. A samurai who pays for an evening with a geisha is paying for the chance to rest, unwind, and take off his face, becoming merely a man for an evening, sharing the company of a beautiful and charming woman without the burdens of samurai duty and honor. So essentially, samurais back in the day were literally soldiers. That's the rundown of them. But here they were allowed to just don't worry about the honor, don't worry about the code. You are now in the company of a woman who's going to make you feel good for the night, and not by the way of sex. It's literally it's essentially just spending the time with a woman for that day, and that's all they really want out of it. Um, so the origins of Ronin, and now Ronin are different than a samurai, or at least a little bit. So how does a samurai become a Ronin? Many of them are born to this station, either being a children of Ronin themselves or the unacknowledged illegitimate children of a clan samurai. Others are made Ronin by shame or a failure that results in their being expelled from the clan, a punishment which most samurai consider to be worse than seppuku. And a samurai may also become Ronin if his lord dies without an heir. Typically, another lord from the same clan will accept such orphan samurai into his own in their own service, but on rare occasions, no daimyo steps forward to make such an offer, but the vassals become Ronin. So Ronin sound like they're more like the last of a samurai type thing, or they're kind of on their own ordeal. So Ronins are like lone samurai essentially, from what
Yeah.
the history book says.
Yes.
Okay, you got day-to-day etiquettes, Rokugan, not Japan. Okay, so this is a little bit that they put in the book. So it says, Rokugan, not Japan. The world of Rokugan is heavily based on the history and culture of feudal Japan, with lesser but still significant influences from China, Korea, Mongolia, and other parts of Asia. However, it is important for the players of Legend of the Five Rings to realize that Japan is a source of inspiration, not a rigid template. Many aspects of Rokugan differ sometimes quite significantly from the historical samurai culture of Japan. Players should keep this in mind before automatically experiencing or expecting every aspect of Rokugan to replicate the real societies and people who they inspire. So they're pretty much saying, like, hey, stop making it Japan. It's not completely Japan, okay? Thanks. Like, that'd be great. So, that's the essence of what they're telling you.
Do you have sushi? What the fuck is sushi?
Oh, what the fuck is sushi? No, we just have fish on rice. Oh, you dumb bastard. Oh, that'd be sushi.
It's raw fish. You want raw fish? Jump in the river.
What, raw fish jumping roof?
Jump in the river.
That's stupid. Okay, that was bad. Okay, anyway. Visiting other samurai usually involves some fairly elaborate etiquette. So, visiting a samurai in the residence or another, they are expected to present their personal chop a stamp inscribed with their name and explain who they are and why they are there. So a samurai doesn't just go ahead and, come inside when they're not invited. They have a code of ethics here where they're like, hey, this is a stamp of my name on it. I need to talk to you about something. And they're like, sorry, dude, kind of busy today. Can you come back tomorrow? And the samurai could be like, fuck. All right, yeah, I can come back tomorrow. Fuck it. And that's kind of how they would be. Being polite about it is how most samurai go about it, unless, the samurai or warriors or whatever are running in and they're like, let's go kill people in this house. And they're like, dude, that's going to be fucking sweet. And then they get slaughtered because the samurai was a badass, like Matsumoto or some shit. There is gift giving. There's a letter from the courts, or a letter from court. Let's see, what else? Time and seasons. So, here we go. See, this is pretty cool. Okay. So.
What is it?
Okay, so here it says the Rokugan calendar, Western month. So it would be like April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Rokugan common name. So in Rokugani, instead of saying April, May, June, it's hare, dragon, serpent, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, boar, rat, ox, tiger. So in the common forms of it, they could be like, in the month of the serpent, which would be June. Or the month of...
No, so they go off the, not now, not then, but now, but what, Chinese New Year, spirit animals?
Yeah, the Chinese New Year animals, yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's formal religious name. So the religious sections of it are Sun, Moon, Hantei, Akuro, Doji, Shiba, Bayushi, Shinjo, Hida, Togashi, Fuleng, and Ryoshun. So that's the formal religious names in the area of their type of ordeal. And so it's pretty cool. Like, they actually went about and they're like, hey, there's no fucking April in the land of Rokugan. It's fucking hare, you prick. Friggin' hare is April. Say it right or get punched in the face. You fucking massacre piece of shit.
That must be confusing when they go hunting.
Right. Goat season. What? Damn it. Bitch. Alright, anyway.
Why you kill goat and hare? What? Why you kill goat and hare? Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. Oh no, I don't know. Oh, that sucks to be you. Okay, no, I gotta stop doing that. Okay. Anyway, food. So rice is a staple of Rokugan diet. With every meal, indeed, so central is rice to Rokugani life. That their standard greeting is not hello, but have you had rice today? So that's the standard greeting in the area, is like, have you had rice? Oh no, I haven't not had my rice today. Oh, well, I guess you're gonna be sitting down and we're gonna be eating fucking rice. God damn it. Rice is used in a different variety of ways. It will be steamed and served as a main dish, boiled into a porridge, mixed and shaped with vinegar, crushed into rice cakes, or ground up to make flour for dumplings and noodles. So rice noodles. Yeah. Yeah, that's good shit. Rokugani do eat other grains such as millet and barley. Actually, wheat primarily. Buckwheat is used mostly for dumplings and noodles. Soba buckwheat noodles served in broth is a popular food. Thank you very much. Vegetables are eaten extensively and in great variety and are usually cooked in some way: steamed, stir-fried, pickled, or stewed. Popular choices include beans, especially soy, cabbage, daikon radish, onion, potato, mushroom, pepper, bamboo shoot, and various greens. Seaweed is also eaten, either fresh or dried. And then a primary source of protein in the Rokugani diet are tofu, soybean curd, and seafood. So, primarily, they're like, no, fuck it, we don't really eat fucking cows and chickens and pig. Nah, fuck that, we eat fucking seafood, you pricks. Either that or tofu, because we're not by the fucking sea, you assholes. So that's essentially it. And yeah, actually it says here, fish specifically may also be served as sashimi or sushi, as part of the Rokugani diet. So okay, so that is a thing. That's cool. But there's hair, there's clothing, dwellings, the three sins. Like, they really went over the whole culture of this thing, and they were literally breaking it down for everyone entering this world. And I would say that this is one of the better breakdowns in a book that I've seen in a long time, because, in all honesty, this is something that you really kind of have to dive in for.
Travel, men and women.
Anything on your end for what I just said? Have you been listening?
No, I have. As far as that, not I like how they're going into detail. Yeah, it's still fictional because they don't want us to refer to like real Japan shit, but
At the same time,
no, it's like the backstory. But I hope all this information comes to because I'm kind of curious to how they're calling it the Five Rings. I want to know the backstory behind that.
that one I definitely understand. Let me see. There's the Celestial Wheel, the Spirit Realms, the Three Sacred Substances, the tenets of Bushido. Okay, so we'll run over this really quick because I find this one interesting. So the tenets of Bushido. This is the path of the warrior. All men who call themselves samurai are measured by it. Those who stray from the path will perish. Those who adhere to its teachings will prosper. So you have compassion, courage, duty, courtesy, honesty, honor, and sincerity. And those are the tenets of Bushido, and that's how they pretty much bring themselves to do that. The concept of the face. The face is a vitally important aspect of samurai culture. It is intrinsic to the belief that samurai are exceptional persons chosen by birth to serve the empire in ways that mere peasants cannot. A samurai is expected to maintain self-discipline at all times, to control himself, and to never show the sort of open emotions, out of control behavior that characterizes lower people. So, in other words, if you're a samurai, you can't be like, I'm gonna kill every motherfucker in here and you fucking even drop a drink. No, you can't be doing that. Like, you can't be doing that.
Well, yeah, samurais have a harsh tolerance for what? Pain, emotion, love, that whole spiel. So it's like you can't be showing that goofiness like most people simp. Like, can't be a samurai master Roshi and go, damn, blood splat out your damn nose.
I mean, pretty much just shit like that, yeah. So so this is a really cool concept because by showing it, I mean, then you're showing your ass, and that's a whole different incident. Shaman disgrace, seppuku, when you just don't handle life very well. There's politics, economics, crime and punishment, dueling, because, fuck everything else. Blood feuds, war in Rokugan, there's the samurai, shogun, armies and tactics, sieges, great clans of Rokugan. Okay, so here we're finally going to be getting into the clans. So let's go into them a little bit. Now you see this one. This was the Crab Clan. That is their symbol, and I kind of like how it's kind of drawn in the style of like an inked kanji. No, not kanji. Symbol drawing of the classic art styling. And their comment here is, "We are the wall." So the Crab Clan is any gathering of samurai. It is all too easy to pick out a crab from the members of the other clans. Crab Clan samurai are larger and more powerful than those of virtually any other family or clan in the empire. So what they're essentially saying is these dudes are built like fucking brick shit houses. No, so their whole thing is we are the wall. Yeah, well, it would seem so. They are literally 8 foot tall giants or 7 foot tall people, like in a house of like 5 foot people.
That's a big boy.
That's a big chunky boy. I would not want to go up against him.
But it makes sense. They probably call themselves crab because I guess back then, they probably the seafood by them had very hard shell crab rather than soft shell. Probably consider themselves as their main defense, more or less. I'm sure that's one of their attack strategies. Strong defense is a good offense.
Probably. So here, now you can see here, this is what the Crab clan thinks of other clans. And this is good for roleplay part because, when you're playing a crab person and you're like, oh shit, it's a member of the Crane. Well, they're pathetic, weak socialites with scarcely a warrior among them. They belittle us. Put them on the wall for a week and see how many are left alive. They will beg for our protection then. So these guys are they don't think very highly of the Crane. Dragon, their ways are strange and nonsensical. They seem to be capable warriors, they seem to be capable warriors when their hand is forced. But why do they wait so long to enter the battle? Perhaps they are cowards. Then they have Lion. They alone understand what it means to wage war, but even they have no appreciation for what it is we do each day. Perhaps one day we can be true brothers, but until they gain perceptive, they are to be respected but not feared. So the Crab respect the Lion clan, but they don't see them as equals in that manner.
Interesting.
So the Mantis, for it says, our distant cousins are brave enough, but so intent on proving themselves that they behave foolishly. Wealth and daring do not earn respect, little brothers. So they see them in very, very high regard, but they consider them kind of like a little brother who is like, nah, bitch, we better than you, motherfucker. It's like, oh, you think so? Okay, you go ahead. You have your fun. Phoenix. Pacifism has no place among samurai. We are called to make war and to weep over the deaths of your enemies is weakness. So it seems like the Phoenix are a very more passive group. Kind of softer than most, but we'll see what they have here. Scorpion. There is no one more useless than a scorpion. All the weakness of the Crane, plus their pointless love of deception and lies. They are so convinced of themselves that they think they are invulnerable. We will see about that, perhaps soon. So they definitely don't like the Scorpion. Unicorn, our closest allies. They understand what it means to be ostracized because they do not care for the peculiar rules and fashions that command the day in the other courts. They are strange, yes, but they are our brothers in arms. So, they highly, highly appreciate the Unicorn and see them as an equal amongst them. So, minor clans. So, there are minor clans in the world of Rokugan. But they are not as widely known nor seen in the midst of Rokugan. So, in this case, they understand what it means to struggle and survive every day, even if they command no resources to speak of. And they treat them kindly, but ultimately they are of little consequence. So they are kind of like, yeah, we kind of take pity on them, but that's because it's a whatever thing. We don't necessarily, we don't necessarily hate them, but we're just not like, we're not like that. Troy?
I'm still here. I'm thinking about it. Oh, I do like their like the fact that it actually seems like an unlikely alliance that the crab and the unicorn seem fit to love one another. But then again, everyone has their own perspective on clans, and I'm sure there'll be, like you said, there's unlikely alliances, friends, enemies, and then you'll have political. And I'm sure this could change along the way when you're playing. It'll be interesting to see who becomes friends, who becomes enemies, and at the end of it all, like how it all turns out. Well, I'm sure there's multiple endings to this. Mm. I can't wait to see what the other clans have in store for with the alliances for everyone else.
It will be interesting. So let's see what we can find. So now we know what kind of everyone thinks. So here we see the Crane clan. This is their symbol, Crane clan itself. And they're saying is be more concerned with good actions than with great ones. So if there is an individual of importance anywhere in the Empire, then it may be safely assumed he has a close friend, advisor, or perhaps a bride that is a Crane. This is how the Crane maintain their ruthless grip on the on social and political world of Rokugan. So the Crane is a social class. They are not really meant for, war per se, but they are more like people who work the political intrigue in their favor. So it's very much like a Emperor Palpatine type thing where, he kind of like manages to manipulate everyone in the sake of the Empire.
Hmm. Okay.
So, I mean, that's a pretty nice Crane warrior. So, let's see what they think of everyone. So the crab are a bunch of brutish oafs. The dragon are strange people who prefer to stay hidden in the mountains and contemplate the universe. Lions, they have the temperament of angry children and the flexibility of a stone sculpture. Mantis, they are ostentatious they are ostentatious beyond all belief, but willing to undertake all manner of unsavory tasks for pay. Phoenix, perhaps the closest allies of the Crane, they at least understand the benefits of structured and orderly society. Their instances that all clans should cooperate with one another is useful as well, if a bit naive. Scorpions are deceitful, manipulative cretins who will stoop to the lowest means to accomplish what they wish. Unicorns, they remain grateful for our assistance in reestablishing them once they return to the Empire. And as they see minor clans, those descend from our own ranks deserve our consideration, but the rest are of little use in the grand scheme of things. So that's the rundowns of each clan, of what the Crane think of them. Kind of brutal in that aspect because so the Crane and the Phoenix are very close, just like the Crab and the Unicorn are very close, brothers in arms wise. Anything for you?
I think the way the Crane's looking at it is Crane looks like they seem to. I know they're political, but they might be egotistical. The way they're looking at it in their point of view, because I think we're looking at it in their point of view of how they see every clan.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on there.
Yeah, I think Crane might be only egotistical because in this case, if you're throwing the Palpatine card at Crane, it'd be like, nah, they can do what they want. I know we got the knowledge and know-how. Even if they commit war, they'll have the strategy because if they have the politicalness, they could probably get others to do their bidding. So I guess they don't seem too worried.
Right. This one's the Dragon clan. So you see the dragon symbol up there on the right. Pretty nice. This one is know yourself and you can never be defeated. That is a pretty strong statement. While all the clans have unique customs and practices that others would readily identify as strange, perhaps no other clan save the unicorn suffer the confusion and disdain of the Empire so much as the dragon. Although the dragon are beholden to their own traditions and codes of conduct, there is little they do that is considered normal to the other clans. So that's why they're considered That's why they're considered the oddballs. They don't follow the Empire's code of like normalcy.
Well, I'm pretty sure they probably have a strong. Well, first of all, dragons are above all a hell of a mystical, mistress creature in general. So probably being as smart and know-how as they are, they probably figure staying away from all the others and the politicalness. They're probably like the exact opposite of Crane, only because while they focus on political and all that, they're not too concerned with that. So keeping away from all that, being knowledge to themselves, knowing their know-how. I'd say I'm sure most people, if they were in this campaign, most would choose Dragon. They seem more free-spirited to start. Like they don't seem combined to anything, more or less to any rules. I would say, but only because they have to follow a certain code themselves. But it seems more free range in my case. But it seems like a good clan to start from. I know I would.
Okay. So for the dragon's view of the other clans, Crab, they cling to duty with enormous tenacity. Crane rule the courts, yes, but not always with the benevolence a true master of men should possess. The lion have a mighty roar, but it deafens them to the sound of all else. The mantis are hardy souls who live fully in the world, but they forsake their own spirits in doing so. Phoenix, our closest allies and the most fully on the path of enlightenment, we salute their brilliance and their piety. Scorpion, we have been allies at times, and we respect their strength without the judgment that other clans levy against them. Unicorn, most believe that they have no place in the Empire, but they do not listen and embrace ways that others find aberrant. And for minor clans, greatness may spring from the lowest of places, but ambitious must be where lest their own desires cast them down. So they are really close with the Phoenix and the Scorpion, so that's interesting.
Now, I noticed they didn't throw shade at the Scorpion because they at least acknowledged their strength. But they didn't mention anything about their dishonoredness. Maybe because they probably already know their faults. They just rather compliment their strengths. At least they know they're strong, which is nice.
They know the Scorpion are still bad news, but they respect and they don't smack talk them for it.
Yeah, so like I said, point of view, they look at their positives, not the negatives. I guess dragons seem to be more open that way.
Just a bit.
Where at least they know what a clan's good for. They don't have to point out all their faults all the time.
So now we have the Lion Clan. So the Lion Clan says honor, glory, and Bushido. There is nothing else. So these guys are fuck, kill, and kill some more. So, or fuck.
Well, Lion, it's very fierce, proud, and they hunt. I don't know if Bushido kills for sport, but
Well, let's see. The Lion Clan. There is no greater military power in Rokugan. Perhaps the world that can unleash the might of the Lion Clan. Even at the dawn of the Empire, the first emperor recognized the nascent lion would become powerful. Perhaps beyond any other clan. So they are the most terrifying force in Rokugan. So while the crab don't see it that way, the emperor recognizes that the lion are the most powerful military.
Well, crab don't see it that way. They're all about defense, thinking I guess they figure their defense is better. But like I said, point of view. But if the emperor sees them as the worst, I mean the best clan over them, well, you gotta give it to what the emperor says at least.
So the crab, they are formidable, but they conduct themselves strangely and seemingly without thought for their honor. Crane, cowards and manipulators who face threat with words rather than steel. Dragon, what can be accomplished from hiding in the mountains for centuries at a time? Nothing. They are beneath our notice. Damn. Mantis, bold but presumptuous when they have
What's beneath the lion's notice?
dragon. They don't consider the dragon. They consider the dragon less than nothing.
Damn.
Bold but presumptuous when they have archived one fraction of what a true great clan has accomplished. Phoenix. Powerful foes with considerable prowess at manipulating the battlefield, but they squander their abilities with their obsession with peace. Scorpion. They are all that we despise about the crane, but worse. Their blatant disregard for honor is an offense that cannot be borne. Unicorn. Their ways are strange and therefore inferior, but they conduct themselves with honor and speak the truth in all instances. For that and for the might of the cavalry, they are to be respected. Minor clans. The minor clans exist only through the generosity of the emperor and the mercy of the great clans. They should always remember this. So, these motherfuckers don't like anyone. Except for maybe the crab. They call them formidable, and they respect the unicorn, but they're just kind of like, fuck these guys. Fuck the crane, fuck the dragon, fuck the mantis, fuck the phoenix, and fuck the scorpion. Fuck these dudes. Fuck them all.
You see them as the most highest of all. So yeah, anyone they find beneath them, they'll pretty much talk down trash. Then I think they feel like no one can match their power. Well, I can only imagine how that fight will go. I guess with all the armies. I wonder what the Lion Clan has that makes them become so clear that they feel so powerful when all men usually are the same, unless they do things differently.
Well, so remember what the crab were saying about them? They thought that they were just like out of control animals, which means which tells me that their fighting style or their army training is ruthless, and they expect their warriors to be ruthless.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess in this RP, if you're ruthless, you don't care for much. But if you want to be a caring person, it's just another clan.
Mantis. We are the children of thunder is their tagline here. The mere existence of the Mantis clan as a great clan of Rokugan gives credence to the words of Shinsei. Fortune favors the mortal man. The Mantis were born from Hida Kaimetsu Uo, son of Hida Osano Wo, and Matsu Woman. Okay, so these guys are kind of a wonder in and of themselves. They're kind of like a more modern clan for them.
Hmm.
That's what it's kind of feeling like off this, that they're, let's see, and so carved a land of his own out of island and silk and spice. The Empire, he and his followers became the Empire's first minor clan, although their claim to be the first would be contested by the Fox. Centuries later, during the Clan War, the Mantis played an essential role in defending the Empire from the Shadowlands. So they became a main clan during the first Clan War, and that's how they gained their status. So these guys did some very unsavory things, but helped the Empire defeat the Shadow Clan. So that's where they get all their notoriety from. They're kind of being like kind of like assassins almost.
Hmm.
Not assassins, but like dirty deeds done dirt cheap type thing.
Yeah, I gotcha.
The Mantis view other clans. Crab, our cousins are formidable warriors and strong allies, but their view of the world is too narrow. Crane, cowardly politicians content to sit back and let others take the risk while they steal the glory. Dragon, and the others call us strange. Still, they do not judge us for our differences, and for that we respect them. So they respect the dragon because the dragon doesn't judge them. The dragon's like, what the fuck ever, dude. Do you.
Mm-hmm.
Lion, small-minded bigots, incapable of seeing the reality of the world that surrounds them. That pretty much kind of narrows down what the how they view every other clan. Oh man, I'm gonna need a soda. Shit. Anyway, Phoenix. 1,000 years ago, they harbored the murderer of our founder's father. They learned then what it means to call down the thunder, and yet they have forgotten. They will remember when the time comes. So they fucked up. They fucked around and found out by killing the founder's father. So that's kind of fucked. Scorpion. At least they understand how the world truly works, even if they are foolish enough to let everyone know how devious and secretive they are. Unicorn. Our fellow outsiders, they have always treated us with respect and courtesy, and for that we will treat them with the honor they deserve. So, and minor clans. We were born from the ranks of the minor clans and have brought several of them into our ranks. Thus, our own triumph is proof that any clan, no matter how small, can rise to greatness. We offer them friendship and aid in the hope that they emulate our success. So, they like the dragon. They kind of like the scorpion, but not really. Like, they respect them for being as truthful as they are about how the world works, but they're, like, too secretive for them. They like the unicorn, and they love minor clans because they themselves were a minor clan.
Kind of seems like they give praise to anybody who really leaves them alone or has anything in common with them. Anyone else, they just see their own beliefs as whether or not they feel it's either up to their standards or lower. Well, that's pretty fair.
So here we got the Phoenix Clan. So the Phoenix Clan speak to the kami and know the world. So they sound like they're the more like pious and very religious ones, considering that the Phoenix is known for being a firebird who resurrects from the dead. That kind of really feels toward their own home.
Mm-hmm.
Founded by a man of incredible devotion and selflessness, the Phoenix Clan is widely regarded as having the greatest Shugenja of the Empire, so the greatest priest. So they are definitely the more religious out of them. And for good reason. The number of Shugenja in their ranks is more than double that of any other clan, and their Shugenja also generally possess a greater understanding of the elements and how the kami can be invoked. So they are literally like, hey, we could talk to God, motherfucker. Like, what is your excuse? So they're kind of like magicians.
Yeah,
almost. They're almost kind of sounding like magicians if you were going to compare them to anything. The Phoenix's views about their clans, though. Crab, an existence that consists solely of war erodes the soul. If they would but embrace the wisdom of the Tao, it would change everything. Crane, like us, they avoid war at all costs, but all too often they allow petty politics to influence their decisions. Dragon, our closest allies, share much of our devotion, though their methods are strange. Too much emphasis on finding a different path means the true way is lost. Lion, why must there always be war? We all exist under a mandate of peace. Mantis, upstarts and braggarts, there is no place in a civilized empire for those who do not comprehend the natural order of things. Scorpion, nothing can be accomplished with such ridiculous deceptions. They fool themselves with their shadow games. Unicorn, they are uncouth and distasteful, but they understand many foreign forms of magic that should be carefully studied. Treat them with respect, and perhaps they will share the invaluable knowledge they possess. Minor clans, of little significance, but for this very reason deserving of our protection so long as they recognize their humble place. The abuse they have often suffered at the hands of more arrogant and militaristic great clans is shameful. It is not always the duty of the samurai to care for those. Is it not always the duty of the samurai to care for those less powerful? So it seems like they kind of respect the Crane, but not as well. They are the closest allies with the Dragon. They don't like the Lion and the Mantis, nor the Crab. They don't care for Scorpion. They respect the Unicorn enough to be like, hey, we don't really fuck with them like that, but these guys are pretty cool. Treat them with respect, and they share knowledge. And they kind of have a respect for the minor clans, and they wish to protect them. So that's pretty cool. Scorpion Clan. Are you ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Scorpion Clan. I can swim is the name of their tagline, which means that they're probably already bullshitting out of the gate. This is already going to be a good one.
This I gotta hear.
Huh?
Said this I gotta hear.
To many of Rokugan's greatest plays, poems, and works of fiction, there is a Scorpion villain, and for good reason. The Scorpion are annihilists of everything the other great clans believe, and as a result, they are hated almost without exception. This is their choice, and they would have it no other way. When the Empire was first formed, the Kami Bayushi spoke with the little prophet Shinsei, who told them that the parable of the scorpion who rode across the river on the back of the frog. The scorpion could not swim, it explained, and thus it would not sting and kill the frog, because to do so would kill them both. Halfway through the trip, the scorpion stung the frog, and as it died, the frog asked why the scorpion had doomed them both. The scorpion simply replied, "I can swim."
Wow.
So, the scorpions are essentially like, fuck you, fuck you, and fuck you. They are just not good people, man. These guys literally
Well-
pride themselves on flipping everyone off.
I was about to say, so their tagline is a lie. That leads to their whole deception.
Right. So they say that they can swim, but see, according to the Scorpions line in the story, it's like I can't swim. It's like he lied just to purposely kill the frog. So that's the trick for them. Scorpion's view of other clans. This is gonna be fucking good. Alright. Crab. Be extremely cautious, for they are too stupid to be manipulated.
Wow.
Crane. They have so much potential if they would but cast aside their pointless desire to remain virtuous in the eyes of their colleagues. Dragon. They sometimes count us among their allies, and they have always treated us with respect other clans deny us. If they must be used, then do so cautiously and with as much consideration as possible. They must never know. Lion. Anger and honor are easy to manipulate. Both in one clan makes them a little more than pawns. Mantis. For those who are ridiculously eager to prove themselves, will jump headlong into virtually anything with minimal effort on our part. Phoenix. They combine arrogance and naive with incredible power. They can be manipulated easily, but their prowess allows them to see through many simple deceptions. Proceed with caution when dealing with them. Unicorn. We facilitated their reintroduction to Rokugan, but that does not mean we believe they belong here. Why does everyone assume they are who they say they are, when they can provide so little evidence to support their claim? Minor clans. They are too weak and unimportant to bother with, unless they threaten or defy us, in which case they must be crushed without mercy.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it for all of them. Like, usually when we get to minor clans, the minor clans are... They are too weak and unimportant to bother with unless they threaten or defy us. That's the last one for the Scorpion clans.
Well, definitely, how do I say this? They definitely are the asshole out of all the clans, more asshole-ish. But they seem probably, if not just as ruthless as the Lion Clan when it comes to killing.
They're just essentially ruthless in general, but it's because of their deception. Essentially, they're trying to tell you here that it's like, yeah, like they said for Crab and like they say for Crab, they're too stupid to be manipulated, and they're mostly talking about manipulation and how easily they've seen how each clan reacts to things, and the dragon is the one they really are the only ones they really don't have a problem with. You know, they have some sort of they have some respect for the Phoenix, it seems, like to a degree, but nothing like, you know, that makes it, you know, too obvious. But yeah, the dragon is the one that they seem to at least be okay with mostly. Unicorn.
Looks like it.
The Kirin. Unicorn or Kirin clan. We are the children of the wind. For all of their differences with the other great clans of Rokugan, are united in one regard. They look at the Unicorn clan as outsiders and borderline barbarians. This reputation is not entirely deserved, as the clan spent the majority of its history completely absent from the Empire. During the first days of Rokugan, the Lady Shinjo petitioned her brother Hente for the right to explore the world beyond the Empire in order to ensure that no new threats might come from there. For 8 centuries, the clan of Kirin was gone before it finally returned to as the Unicorn Clan. Now the clan fits in poorly with its fellows, having adapted numerous customs the Empire finds strange or even disgusting. So the Unicorn literally vanished for several centuries from the Empire.
Did they say why or how?
Well, it seemed like that they were interested in roaming around, like I mentioned, and exploring other places to make sure that nobody else would be a threat to them. And then when they came back, they had gotten so many different customs that they were just kind of like, like now we know all this stuff, and the Empire's like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Like this is not what we all believe in.
So pretty much they did some worldwide homework.
More or less. So that's their whole ordeal. But now let's see what they think of the clans. Crab, they do not care that we are different because they do not care about the Empire's customs any more than we do. Crane, were it not for them, we might never have remained or reclaimed our birthright. Dragon, what kind of person can tolerate hiding in the mountains for 1,000 years? Man, the dragons just get shit on, dude. Lion, our closest neighbors and potentially our greatest enemies. They dislike us because we are different. Mantis, ambitious and aggressive, attempting to seize a place for themselves in the Empire. They are very much like us, so they consider the Mantis the very much closest to them. Phoenix, they look down their noses at us, but still covet the knowledge we safeguard. If they wish to gain access to our libraries, they must first meet us as equals. Scorpion, even in the most treacherous realms, we never encountered anyone as despicable as the Scorpions. Jesus. And minor clans, their weakness makes them of little importance, but their bushi can be as brave and honorable as any great clan samurai, and for that at least we can respect them. So, that is all the great clans. Now, let's do a little bit of, before we get into the mechanics or some of these ideas here, I have something to bring up to you. And this is kind of funny because, so there is, so there is a bunch of other, clans and families and shit in the world of Rokugan. So you have the Crab and the several family crests in that clan. You have the Crane and the several crests from them. You have Dragon and their crests. You have Lion as well as their crests. Mantis, but along with a couple of theirs. Phoenix and everyone associated with them. Scorpion. Then there's one called the Spider Clan that we didn't talk about because they are one of the minors. See, there's a bunch of minor clans in this that the Spider's just not talked about. But you got the Unicorn Clan. And then you have the Imperial families, so the Emperor and as well as their symbols. All right, here are some of the minor clans. These are cool. So you have the bat, the badger, the boar, dragonfly, hare, monkey, ox, snake, sparrow, and tortoise, as well as Dark Moto, Shadowlands, the Tortoise Army, and the Brotherhood of Shinsei.
Huh.
But
it's all a little.
But see, these are all cool because you have to see these symbols. Like, I'll go ahead and I will post the link in the. I'll post the link up on the podcast in the description so you guys can take a look at it. But these are really cool symbols. They're very beautiful looking. I kind of enjoy them. Okay. So what do you think of the clans, just before we continue?
I think I heard you say one Pharaoh. You said Pharaoh clan?
Pharaoh?
You said, I know you went through them all, but just before the last one, I thought you said Pharaoh, unless I misplaced the word.
I misplaced the word. I didn't say Pharaoh. Sparrow.
What were the last three
Sparrow.
in that list?
Sparrow.
What was it?
Sparrow. Like sparrow.
Oh, Sparrow.
Like
oh, okay. Well, out of all that, curious to how the Monkey Clan would be, because back then, well, no. Monks would be a completely different thing, though. I wouldn't be surprised. No, those are more or less Shaolin. That's more China.
Right.
But
I mean,
yeah, curious.
But I mean, just in general, just having knowing now what you know about them makes it more interesting when you play the game, because this tells you exactly how each clan was seen. So that's what's pretty cool. Okay. So now you have target numbers. So target numbers is, difficulty, a physical or mental equation to it. Rings. Now these are the rings that you were talking about. These are what you wanted to know. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. Rings and traits. The most basic representation of a character's abilities are the 5 rings. The 5 rings are the basic conceptual building blocks of the Legend of the Five Rings world. All things, both living and non-living, are composed of different proportions of the elements that the rings represent. With regard to characters, each ring is made up of 2 traits, one mental and one physical, representing its influence in the mortal world. Air. Air is enigmatic and mercurial in all things and represents an individual's capacity for empathy and intuition. The spirits of the air can be capricious and mischievous, but their wrath is as that of the storm. Those who are aligned with the element of air possess superior instincts and speed of reaction.
So that's the air symbol, huh?
Yep.
That could be easily misled if you turn it upside down. People would think that's a wave.
Right. Earth. Earth is eternal, unchanging, and unmoving. It is the element of endurance and resistance, and represents an individual's ability to withstand whatever trial arise. Spirits of Earth are quiet and impassive, but can be roused into brief moments of terrible violence. So the air elements are awareness and reflexes. while earth is willpower and stamina. So fire is element of dynamic change, energy, and destruction. It is the element of motion and illumination. Spirits of fire are capable of mending what has been broken or of destroying all in their path. Those who are strong in the element of fire are great warriors, brilliant scholars, or possibly both. Those weak in fire are physically uncoordinated and sluggish of thought. So it's intelligence and agility. Then you have water. Did I skip anything? Air, earth, fire. I guess not. Air, earth, fire. Oh, it's void. Okay, that's the fifth ring. Water is the element of rapid change and alteration. It is the inexorable force that carve mountains over thousands of years, and the capricious storm that batters a ship one instant and gently caresses it to destination the next. It is perception and strength for water. So, ring and trait reduction. There are numerous mechanical effects that can temporarily reduce a character's traits or rings. Such a penalty reduces all rolls associated with that ring or trait and can also impact any abilities derived from rings or traits, such as wounds. Reducing a living creature's earth ring to 0 will also reduce the creature's wounds to 0, killing it. Reducing other rings to 0 will not kill a living creature, but it may have other effects as the discretion of the GM. As a general principle, we suggest that such a creature falls unconscious and cannot be revived until the condition causing the ring reduction is alleviated. So these rings count for everything. So these rings are literally your stats like in D&D. If a stat in D&D reaches 0, then, or is below a certain number, you suffer heavy penalties.
Oh, shit.
Let's do void. The fifth and final element that comprises the universe is void. Void is poorly understood by the mortal mind, for it is both the presence and the absence of the other four elements. It is a state of all elements existing together simultaneously, and yet it is also emptiness that exists between them. Fucking Confucius over here writing the book. There are no traits associated with the void ring. Instead, a character gains a number of void points equal to his void ring that may use them to enhance die rolls and other actions made during the course of the game. So the void ring is literally your ability to enhance your other traits.
Traits as far as what, like climbing, hearing, all the other shit?
So when I was reading them off before, I was saying that air has awareness and reflexes, earth has willpower and stamina, fire has intelligence and agility, water has perception and strength. So those would... And yeah, there's probably still like skills like climbing and shit like that, but I'm not sure how that all works. I know that is in the book what we're reading through, so we'll get to there.
So void enhances all that, though.
Yeah. Skills. Rings and traits represent to the innate mental and physical abilities of a character, what they learn through the training and experience. However, is represented by skills. Samurai began acquiring the basic building blocks of skills at a very young age when they first enter a dojo and to begin training for a life of service. In the name of their clan, each clan's dojo teaches different skills that even within a single clan, the skills taught at a very particular dojo can vary wildly. Like rings and traits, skills are ranked from 1 to 10. A rank of 1 in a skill indicates the character has been introduced to the most basic principles of that skill, whereas a character in a rank of 10 in any given skill is either one of the greatest masters on the planet or a supernatural being of some sort. When a skill roll is called for it, It lists the skill first, then the trait being used for the particular role. A call for an athletics agility roll, for instance, would require a player to roll a total number of dice equal to the character's ranks in the athletic skill and agility trait to keep a number of dice equal to the character's agility trait. So, you would essentially, like, let's say if it's 3 and 3, or let's say if it's 5 and 2. So, if your athletics is a 5, but your agility is a 2, then you would only end up keeping you would only keep 2 dice, but you would roll 7.
So, if you're, sorry, if which one's 5, which one's 2?
If athletics is 5 and agility is 2. Now, mind you, you roll a total of dice equal to both of those numbers, so that's 7. But you only keep a number of dice equal to the agility trait, which is a 2. So you would roll 7 dice and keep 2.
So pretty much you have a great chance of rolling high numbers depending on that, but you can only keep 2 of those dice rolls.
Right.
All right. That's understandable.
Okay. Raises. There are times when simple success is not enough. When a character needs to accomplish something truly spectacular, raises are the means by which that can be accomplished. When a player declares that he is making a raise, he is choosing to voluntarily increase the TN of the task as his character is attempting. The target number of the risk his character is attempting by an increment of 5 per raise. Raises are generally made when a player feels the character's abilities will allow him to easily exceed the TN for a given task. The most common use of raises is to allow a character to perform maneuvers in combat, described later in the chapter, but individual game masters can allow any number of different effects with sufficient raises. Players who wish to try unconventional or creative actions that are not covered by the basic rules should simply ask the GM how many raises will be required for the action. A character can make a number of raises per roll equal to his void ring. A character with a void of 2, for instance, can make 1 or 2 raises per roll, but not 3. Some mechanical effects grant a character free raises. These give the benefits of having made a raise without actually increasing the target number of the roll in question. So, raises are essentially high risk maneuvers that will get you like something like a bonus, or just want to do something epic in the roll.
Gotcha.
But you have ring rolls, you have damage rolls, contested rolls, spell casting, trait, skill. They really went into like the entire dive into this, and the combat is essentially you're rolling dice in various combinations, and this is for people who wish to play the game. But essentially, you're gonna be keeping an eye on your sheet a lot. You really need to be focused into what dice you're rolling, what you're doing with your dice, how the rules work. The rules are easy enough to follow, but to remember and balance them for your own game is a pain in the ass. It's clearly here that this is not meant to be just fucked around with in an afternoon.
Gotcha.
So, you have unskilled. So for skill rolls, though, you have unskilled rolls, which you can do, but they're not like going to be amazing. Failed rolls, cooperative rolls, cumulative rolls, and these are just other kinds of rolls for skills that you can accomplish, especially for teamwork or otherwise. You have combat, which always fun in the event of a tabletop game. Everyone would like to slice somebody else's face off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's something cool. Attack and defense and wounds. So you make attack and defense rolls as opposed to being an armor class. And your wounds are as follows. Your wounds are healthy, nicked, grazed, hurt, injured, crippled, down, and out. And that's how they measure the lethality and the wounds of them. Now, you can heal wounds. The simplest manner to recover wounds is resting. For every night's rest a character gets, he recovers a number of wounds equal to twice his stamina trait, plus his insight rank. It is possible to increase this amount or to recover additional amounts through treatment via certain skills or spells. So this essentially tells them this has a realistic healing property to it. You can't just drink a potion of healing, though it doesn't say you can't, but it says skills or spells, so I'm going to say no. You actually have to lay down in bed and do shit all for a fucking whole day to recover wounds.
That sounds about right.
Then there's also stances. There are stances that you can make as you take an attack action. And that's attack, full attack, defense, full defense, or center. So they give you each different kind of traits as you're playing in combat. So like an example, when you're in an attack stance, it is like a normal attack. It is a normal attack action. No restrictions are made. But a full attack, raging and consuming all in its path, a character in full attack stance may take no simple or complex actions other than those used to make attacks. So there's a restriction. So you can't do anything more, or you can't take any other actions with those other than making an attack, and may only use move action to get closer to the enemies. So if you're in full attack, you can't run, you can't dodge, you can't do anything. You're just running in, and then you get to do a bonus attack roll to really fuck with people. But your armor is reduced by 10, or your target number is reduced by 10, because now you're not trying to defend, now you're just trying to kill somebody, so.
Okay.
Defense is kind of the same way. It has a very similar idea, but the full defense stance makes a defense or reflex roll and adds half of the total of the armor to it. So it just increases your armor altogether. Let's see.
Killed them.
And then you have the center stance, which is essentially just the mid-ground. It's the average action, the piece, whatever you want to call it. Then you have actions. You either get one complex action with a free action, or you get two simple actions with a free action.
And what would exactly be considered as a simple action, does it say?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. That's what I was waiting for. So free actions are draw a weapon, draw a small weapon, speak up to 5 words, move action, which is your water times 5 in feet, pull out a spell scroll or drop a weapon or item. Simple actions are activate a kata, which I guess is a spell of some sort. Draw a weapon, medium or large. Move action, water times 10 feet. Dismount a horse, guard someone, pick up a weapon, put away a spell scroll, speak more than 5 words, stand up from prone. Complex actions are make an attack, cast a spell, skill use, string a bow for use, or mount a horse.
My stomach, but are you serious that a small action or a medium action is speak 5 words or less? Really?
For a free action, yeah, speak up to 5 words. Simple action is speak more than five.
Hmm.
As you go
Yeah,
ahead
that's
and
the
just
first time I've ever heard of
as
speaking
you
as
go
an
ahead and
action.
just curse off a samurai in every single possible manner. It's like that was still only one simple action. I get another one.
You're right.
Okay. You get move actions, like we said. Then you can go through different terrains. So you have basic, moderate, or difficult terrains to run through depending on where you are. Then you have maneuvers. Maneuvers require raises to do. So you have to put raises in to a roll to make it work. Example, called shot. Called shot is one, so depending on where you're hitting this dude, you have to raise it by up to 4 raises. So like, if you want to hit him in the hand or foot, it's 1 raise. If you want to hit him in the head, that's 2. If you want to go for an eye, an ear, or a finger, or other similar small parts, wait, hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. A limb targeted is 1, a hand or foot is 2, a head is 3, and a eye, ear, finger, or other similar small parts are 4. So you can cut someone's dick off. It would just be a raise of 4 to do it.
Well then, as long as you're being nice about it.
Right? You got disarm, you have extra attack, you have feign, and you have guard. You also have increased damage, or you have knockdown.
Mm. Ah.
Yeah, I know. Sitting here for a while bites.
That's all right. My thing is, I wonder why they're calling it Legend of the Five Rings when pretty much almost everyone has like the 5 rings inside them, kind of, right? Because they always use a bit of everything.
Well, I think is just the purpose of the book being called Legend of the Five Rings is that's how everyone kind of functions. Remember, not everyone is like blessed in completely like mastering or gaining ring bonuses like that. They're not going to be encountering everyone that does that. It's mainly going to be like the main uh I'm gonna say just
Main
main
villains.
soldiers and shit, I guess.
Okay, yeah, I guess so. I'm over here like, yeah. I mean, it seems pretty cool that he used it for stats. I'm surprised they. I guess they probably found it corny that they were going to use it for like some type of emerald or jewel that they were going to have to collect. Maybe it was used too many times. Guess they wanted to go for something different.
Right. You have dueling, so you get to duel people. There's grappling. There's conditional effects like blinded, dazed, entangled, fasting, fatigued, grappled, mounted, prone, stunned. There is fear. They do have honor, glory, and status ranks in this game, which, if you encompass, will tell you how you're seen amongst other people. So, like, you might start out with an honor of 2, which you are untrustworthy. You know, you might have an honor of 0, which is an honorless dog. Or you could be having or you can have a 10, which is strength of 1,000 ancestors.
Hmm.
And what's even cooler is that they tell you how to gain honor. So, let's see. It is. Okay, so for every 10 glory points, you gain 1 rank. So, like, if you have a rank of 0 and you have 20 glory points that you earn, then you'll be a rank 2.
And how do you gain glory points?
So there's a table, actually, depending on where you are on the table. So, give me a... You know what? Let's just do rank 0. Let's just pretend you're a rank 0, okay? If you accept a bribe, then you gain no rank. You don't lose any either. Accepting responsibility for a superior shameful action. So if your boss is a complete and utter dick nugget, you know, you can bow to somebody and be like, dude, I am so sorry for my boss's, like, downfall. Or, I'm sorry, it is my fault that I allow my boss to... Yeah, you have to accept the responsibility. So it's like, I'm sorry that, you know, I'm ashamed that my boss... Or I'm ashamed that I allow my boss to get away with this or something like that. Like, you're accepting the responsibility of your boss's action.
Gotcha.
Acknowledging a superior opponent. So, doing the whole anime thing of like, you're not a bad fighter. Yeah, you're pretty good yourself. Yeah, it's pretty good. Aiding a wounded enemy will get you 9 points. Being an accomplice to a heinous crime is a -1 glory. Being a accomplice to a minor crime is 0. Breach of etiquette or blasphemous is a -1. Breach of etiquette major, minor, or disloyalty to lord, spouse, or superior, they're all 0. Duped into performing a criminal act, a -1. Duped into performing disloyal or a foolish act, 0s. Disobeying a lord's command, also a 0. Enduring an insult to your ancestor, also a 0. So if someone calls your mom a fucking cancerous whore and you just let it go, yeah, you would lose points for that. Enduring an insult to yourself, 2. You gain 2 rank from that. Enduring an insult to your family or clan, 0. Facing a superior foe in the name of your family, an 8. Fleeing from battle, 0. Following orders despite personal misgivings, 6. Fulfilling a promise despite great personal cost, 10. Giving a truthful report at your own expense, 8. Lying to bolster your reputation, 0. Manipulating another into dishonorable behavior, 0. Politely ignoring others' dishonorable behavior, 3. Protecting your clan, family, lord interests despite great risk to yourself, 8. Showing kindness to one beneath your station, 6. Showing sincere courtesy to enemies or rivals, 9. Using a low skill, 0. Using false courtesy to gain advantage over an enemy, 0.
That's pretty neat. But like they said, you're based upon your character, in which case I could see this as like if you get like 4 people playing, one from different clans, and they all have to act according to what their characters would be upon. It'd be interesting as a party, definitely.
Well, that's why, like, it's just your clan's beliefs. So, yeah, depending on, you know, you don't have to be, like, a super stickler for all that shit. But, I mean, this is the world that it's built on, so this gives you a whole lot of versatility to how to really play the game. There's other gaining and losing and glory. There's a whole nother table for that. There's gaining glory. Okay. So there's that was gaining and losing honor. Okay. So that's a big jump in points for that. So
Let's see it.
but there's other stuff like gaining and losing glory. There's acknowledgement, blood feud, caught in a lie, completing a quest, craftsmanship, defeat, duels, family honor, gifts, idleness, indifference, immorality, learning, marriage, public bragging, romance, skirmishes, status, stealing credit, and warfare. There's a lot to go around. There's definitely a lot to be sure. And there's even more than that. Look, this goes on for a while. Like, this is kind of crazy, like, how well they went into everything. You will definitely need to sit down and read through this whole thing. Like, this is kind of crazy. They do a really good job.
Character creation, quick summary.
Yeah. Huh. So, we're going to run over this one pretty quick, too. So step one, you pick your clan. So whichever clan that you wish to be a part of, there it is. You pick your family. So you pick a family from the clan too, and they're each going to have their own, quirks and cheese and whatever. Pick your school. So there's clans and schools for each part. Customizing your character. Experience points are given to the characters to represent the improvement of their abilities over time. And then derived attributes. Certain abilities or traits that our character possesses are determined based upon other things. So you definitely have quite a bit to run into. And that's just the base building. So you have getting started, the basics, customization, details, improving your character. So you get X amount, so you get stuff there. Here you go. So, as you can see, picking a clan gives you stat bonuses. You see this?
The Hidia family gives strength. The Hiroma family gives agility. The Kaiju family, or what is it, Kaiju?
Kaiju.
Or was I right? Kaiju gives intelligence. And the Kunai also give intelligence. Interesting.
Yeah. Then you have, things like the Toritaka family and the Yasuki family. But then you have Hirabushi School, and you get their techniques, and you have the Kuni School and Yasuki School. So they go into whole this detail about what each of them are supposed to represent. And this is a level of character creation that not a lot of other tabletops have. D&D is great. It is always going to be the godfather and one of the grand champions for a lot of people for tabletops. But this has a level of detail to it that you can really sit down and appreciate by going over the whole thing with each other. And it seems really intrinsical to how the game plays out.
What are you saying, bold? So I got a roundabout with this game, with this tabletop now. It kind of feels like if Dynasty Warriors met Avatar, The Last Airbender, and if that was mixed in with Samurai Warriors, I'm getting that vibe of Ghost of what was that? Ghost of Tsushima.
Tsushima. Yeah.
But it's definitely a good vibe coming from this game. I wouldn't mind giving this a try, at least if we learn the entire tabletop.
that's gonna take a minute to sit down with. I was planning on actually as another episode. We have one called Choose a Path, and Choose a Path is actually our character creation episodes, and they will determine, like, let's see what happens. We can all do that. So then you have skills, masters of abilities. There's actually high skills and low skills, things that, there's high skills and low skills, and it's pretty cool. Like, all this is just intrinsically developed into the game, and there's just so much to roll over into, and not today, not as a whole podcast. Like I said, this is supposed to be us kind of running through things, but this is kind of a large book, and there's just a lot here. But, I mean, you have all sorts of skills and stuff. I mean, there's one called Paragon, there's one called Prodigy, there's Quick Healer. So they each have their own little bits to it. There's weapons that each of them are, used to.
If by any chance, or any one of those weapons say Murasama?
Actually. No.
Damn.
What was it? Yeah, sacred weapons. So sacred weapons of each clan are listed, and they have different things. But the Dragon Clan is like twin sister blades. The mechanic is dice show +5 to the target number of all disarm maneuvers against you. So they go.
I'm kind of curious about the weapons. I want to know about each and every one. This one sounds interesting. So only each clan uses specific weapons? Nick?
What's up?
I said only each clan uses specific weapons?
No. Those are just sacred weapons.
Oh, sacred. Okay.
Then there's disadvantages, which, from what I remember doing these, I know you get an X amount of... here you go. So you get experience points for taking advantages. Let me go back up to the advantages area for a minute, because I want to run through this shortly. I don't really want to spend too much time on this. So the following advantages are available to purchase at the time of character creation and or depending upon the subtype during campaign play. An advantage can be purchased for the number of experience points listed in the description. Individual GMs may wish to increase the cost of advantages purchased during play, either by a fixed amount or by geometric amount, double the listed cost. So, so you have to buy into everything that you run across. But, let's see. Is there... Yeah. Alright, so... Let's see. Presented through the comparative measures of the new raw mental and physical abilities through knowledge gained and study. There's a number of different aspects of their mechanical plan. Purchase for experience points. I can't find it right now. I know you get an X amount of experience points, but you also get additional experience points by getting disadvantages. So it's highly required if you want more to go for the disadvantages too. So you end up just getting more out of it.
Hmm. I guess you gotta take the good with the bad. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Let's see. Then there's magic. So each magic spell has its own little set of rules to it. What you need to do, mastery of the ring. So they get their own sets of rules with it. And of course you have air, fire, earth, and wind spells, all encompassing their own abilities, what they get to do. And it's pretty cool because you get things like Armor of the Emperor in Earth, or Biting Steel for Fire, or even Breath of the Dragon as a fire spell. I mean, you'd hope that would be a fire spell at that point. Bow of Water, Reflections of Panku, Reversal of Fortunes, The Ties That Bind. I mean, like, these are some pretty cool names for spells, and I like how they kind of work. They even have void spells. So apparently you can learn void spells, and they're like Boundless Sight, Flow Through the Void, Sense Void, Altering the Course. These are pretty cool. Like, they have some pretty cool stuff with them overall. Anything before we get to equipment?
No, keep going.
Alright. So, you can get Ashigaru armor, you can get light armor, you can get heavy, and you can get riding. So those are the 4 types of armor you get. So it's either like one's really super light, one is light, and one is heavier, one's really heavy, and riding armor is a different set of balls. So for weapons, you get arrows, and you get different arrow types like flesh cutter, humming bulb, rope cutter, willow leaf, and armor piercer. So they go into some, that's just the arrows. They do have bows, they have throwing weapons, and they got chain weapons too. So, and they actually have like legit names for these, like the Kusaragama. It's the most common chain weapon. The Kusaragama is particularly popular with samurai of the Mantis clan. It is essentially a kama, see knives, attached to the base of the handle to the length of the chain, roughly 5 to 6 feet long. The other end of the chain is attached to a weight, typically metal, cylinder, or sphere. You know what that sounds like?
No, I know exactly what the Kusarigama. Yeah. Hold on a second.
Dude, friggin' Anubis. Quake with fear! Throws the weight down, holding the friggin' sickle or the knife on the other hand.
Yes. Yeah, that's mostly has to do with the rope and kunai at the end of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a very hard weapon to master, which makes the person who ever masters that very skillful. That's what I remember about that.
Yeah, well, anything on the end of a chain is a pain in the ass. So. But then there's heavy weapons, like the Dai Sushi. Sushi. Yeah, I'm saying that right. A massive two-handed warhammer, popular by the Crab Clan. Or you have the Ono, which is a large two-handed axe. There's ninjutsu weapons like the blowgun, the shuriken, Supute, which is the opposite of the shuriken in many ways. Sabute are small, blunt, disc-shaped stones that have been ground into deliberate to be used as thrown weapons. So they throw rocks at motherfuckers. They're like, here's a rock, whack! Just like right in the eye. Pole arms, like the Basento or the Kagamaki or the Nagatana. You have spears. You also have lances. You have swords. So clearly they have their shit fucking all wrapped up on themselves. Like, they're definitely going for all the accurate weapons, too, of the time periods. Now, they even have, like, what's in clothing accessories or what's in a traveling bag. So, they've done their homework and they've literally made this worth kind of, like, running into. You know? So, they've made it acceptable to be running through this. Let's see. Okay, so now we're getting into Book of Water. So these are advanced mechanics. So at its core, the Legend of Five Rings game is a game about samurai, specifically that it's a game about the samurai who serve the great clans of the Rokugan. The character creation options represented within the Book of Fire are designated that the game masters or players can create their own samurai and engage in role-playing adventures within the Emperor or Empire of Rokugan. However, Rokugan is a vast and diverse land, and while the great clans dominate the political, magical, and military environments, they are by no means the only factions trying to resource and influence. So, here we go. You get the Spider Clan that I mentioned before, and their schools. And then you have the Badger Clan here, the Bat, the Boar, the Dragonfly, the Falcon, the Fox, the Hare, Monkey, the Oriole Clan, Ox, Snake, Sparrow, Tortoise. Then you have the Imperial families. Their schooling. And then you have the Brotherhood of Shinsei. And, like, Temple of the Four Monks, Shrine of the Seven Thunder Monks. Then you have Ronin. Apparently you could be a lone Ronin, which, get your own things with that. And they have the optional system. You can do mass battles as opposed to, like, 1-on-1s, and they have, like, yeah, and they have their own system for that. That's pretty cool. So they can kind of, like, you could do a huge war scene, and you don't need a particular, like, you know, you don't do this whole big thing with it. You just do it easier, I guess.
Nice.
And there's heroic opportunities. This is a fucking lot of shit, dude. Like, this is baffling. Ancestors. They have different ancestors that do different things. And what is the friggin' ancestor? What's this whole thing for? Ancestors are a special form of spiritual advantage and are purchased with character points in the same manner as other advantages. So you essentially buy the advantage of whatever that crab or whatever your ancestor is, and I guess you get different things for it. That's pretty cool, though. That's like a different level of immersion for that.
That's not good.
So then, wait, gender equality? There is only one advanced school per clan in this book, so limiting the lion's choice to one gender may seem unnecessarily restrictive. However, the Lion's Pride is one of the clan's most distinguished and iconic units, and it seems natural choice for inclusion. There's no reason the same techniques could not be used in different unit. However, if your players are frustrated at the absence of a lion advanced school for male characters, we suggest the existence of a less well-known but equally ferocious unit known as the Sons of the Pride, who accept male students of equal promise who are excluded from the Lion's Pride. Wow. Okay. Paths, schooling, the kata, striking as air, striking as earth. They're like fighting postures and movements for them. Okay, so that's what that is. I like it. So it's like your fighting style, not so much your stance. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's a lot. Like, okay, in the end, like, we're going into, like, the more advanced shit, and we're still barely scratching the surface here of stuff. Like, in the end, we know what we're getting into. We're going to be doing a ancient, or a rather ancestral version of, Japan, Korea, and China, and Mongolia, where in Rokugan, this is the normal thing. So let me ask you something, Troy. What do you think about this game? Like, if you were gonna rate it as how likely you are to play this game, what are you gonna rate it?
How likely I am to play this game? I'd rate it about 7 out of 10.
About a 7 out of 10? So you're pretty likely to play it if someone asked you.
Pretty likely to play it if someone asked me, but it definitely would take a while to get used to getting every single aspect of the game.
I'm about an 8 on the scale of 10. I would like to play this game. I'm not great with, I would need somebody to actually walk me through this shit. Maybe even just pick it up and play and try to run a campaign one day, if at all. But this is something that I could definitely highly recommend. So, everyone out there in the tabletop world, let us know in the comments or anything what you think of The Legend of the Five Rings, if you've played it, if you understand it. Like I said, we barely touched the surface here. There's so much that we didn't go over because there's just so much to read. And I want to try to keep this under a 9-hour podcast if at all possible. So, from here in Fabletop RPG, my name is Nick. This is Troy once again. Go check him out on Twitch, Castle6891, as well as on TikTok, TGX Comics, and you will see us also playing games on YouTube and on Twitch. But my YouTube channel is not Fabletop. Although that is a YouTube channel, but my streaming channel is The Gamers from Vegas, while my Fabletop channel is also up on there. That one you can use YouTube to listen to some of our stuff. We don't have our discussions up on there quite yet, but I might bring it up eventually, and that's just how we're running it. But from all of us here, you guys have a great day.